Joining me now is CNN political commentator Ana Navarro. I want to talk to you about John McCain in just a moment, but first, let's talk about John Kelly's remarks, where he said that there's a good kind of immigrant and a bad kind. According to Kelly, the good kind speaks English, has at least a college education, can easily assimilate. The meaning of assimilate, of course, is something that is open to interpretation. I just wonder what you think about his remark, Anna.
Hurtful, unnecessary, frankly, un-American. Listen, John Kelly first talked about TPS and talked about policy, immigration policy, which I thought was very appropriate and a substantial discussion. These remarks are unnecessary, and they are, they're particularly disturbing coming from somebody like John Kelly, who is an Irish Catholic from Boston, a city that was largely built by Irish immigrants, Italian immigrants, poor immigrants who came here, many of them poorly educated, who came here with what I guess he would describe as no skills or being unskilled, and who today are the city leaders. But more than that, let's remember, John Kelly is also a general. He has commanded men and women who were willing to do what Donald Trump wasn't willing to do. Sacrifice their lives, risk their lives in service of this country. And if you go to the military cemeteries or the military hospitals, you will find a lot of people named Rodriguez and Martinez, people whose parents, people whose ancestors, or people who themselves came here as immigrants, poorly educated, but who did assimilate, and did assimilate in the most American of ways, being willing to serve this country.
I do want to ask you about John McCain. You worked with him on his 2008 presidential campaign. You heard Meghan McCain today responding to this White House aide, who a lot of people would have never even heard her name before, this Kelly Sadler, who said in dismissing John McCain's opposition to the president's CIA pick, said, he's dying anyways. What do you think? Do you agree with her? Do you think that Kelly Sadler should be fired? Or do you think that, considering what we've heard Donald Trump say about John McCain, that it just creates a very different situation here?
Look, of course, Kelly Sadler should be fired. And by the way, for anybody that wants to give Kelly Sadler their opinion on what she said, it's at Kelly Sadler 45 on Twitter. Look, in any other White House, she would be fired. She would be, at the very least, suspended from her job, because what she said is offensive, it's hurtful. There are so many Americans today who are facing their own mortality, who are facing down terminal illnesses, or who have loved ones who are. And look, the John McCain I know doesn't give a damn about what Kelly Sadler says. This doesn't make a dent on him. But I can only think about how this makes people like Cindy McCain, like their 7 children feel, his 5 grandchildren, his 105-year-old mother, Roberta. And it's got to be incredibly hurtful to be dealing with the illness of somebody you love so much, and at the same time hear some kook on Fox Business, take a shot at him about torture. And then hear this, White House official whose salary we are all paying take a shot at a man who is facing his own mortality and who has been serving this country and sacrificing for this country since the age of 17. It is frankly immoral. It is absolutely deplorable. She should be fired. But how can she be fired when we have heard Donald Trump do the same, starting with the campaign? He has been mocking and attacking John McCain, an American hero, a war hero, who did what he was unable to do. While Donald Trump was dodging the draft, John McCain was tied up in Vietnam and getting tortured in Vietnam. And he has attacked John McCain before his illness and after his illness. This is not the first time that Meghan McCain gets a call apologizing. When is this White House going to stop apologizing for mocking a man who's facing a terminal illness? When?
I do want to ask you, Anna, about Sarah Palin, John McCain's former running mate, and NBC spoke with her because they wanted to know what she thought about a passage in McCain's memoir where he says that he regrets selecting her over Joe Lieberman, who was a Democrat turned independent at the time. Let's listen to this.
Did that hurt to hear you say you would rather choose Lieberman?
Well,
I don't lie, so I'll tell you a bit. You know, I think I described it earlier as a gut punch, but again, you know, I'm going to choose to look back on the good times that we did have together, because, you know, a lot of that campaign really was actually fun for us personally and for our families. And, you know, I will never disparage someone who has served our country and made a lot of sacrifices as a vet now, and that's how I look at him, as someone who had served all those years, and I certainly appreciate that and many other aspects that I see, characteristics that I appreciate in Senator McCain.
That's a pretty classy reaction there, Anna. What did you think about it?
Look, I have the book right here. I am reading it. There is no such passage in this book where John McCain says that he regrets picking Sarah Palin. He says he regrets not having picked Joe Lieberman. Let's remember that Joe Lieberman and John McCain are and have been extremely close. They have worked together on policy for decades. They have, you know, they have a very special bond. And I think John wishes he had picked the man with whom he had this very special bond. But I can tell you from personal experience that anybody who's ever said anything remotely disparaging about Sarah Palin gets an earful from John McCain. I remember having done so once, and John McCain got as angry as I have ever seen him with me. Cindy McCain was there. Lindsey Graham was there. They will remember. So I think this is a big misunderstanding. I think it was a headline that came out in an outlet, maybe The Hill, saying that he regretted picking Sarah Palin. He did not say that. He said he wished he had picked his friend, not because he didn't want Sarah Palin, but because of the special friendship with Joe Lieberman. Look, John McCain is this guy who's got this you know, old-fashioned sense of chivalry and loyalty. He is grateful. He is respectful for anybody that helped him, that worked with him, that was part of his team. And so, you know, can we just clarify that he does not say that in the book, that he regrets, that he regrets picking Sarah Palin.
But that he regrets not picking his friend, which you feel certainly is an important distinction there.
I do, because I'm telling you, I faced his wrath once, in no uncertain terms, over Sarah Palin. This is a man who has never said anything disparaging about Sarah Palin and never allowed it said in his presence.